Archibald was a rather round, very black cat who considered himself the king of his cozy little house. He loved three things more than anything: long naps in sunbeams, gentle chin scratches, and his bowl, always filled to the brim with crunchy, fish-flavored kibble. But lately, something was amiss. Every morning, when Archibald sauntered into the kitchen for his breakfast, his whiskers twitching with anticipation, he found his bowl empty. Not just a few pieces missing, but licked clean as a whistle empty. Harumph! Archibald would grumble, his green eyes narrowing. This is an outrage. A culinary catastrophe. At first, he suspected the humans. Perhaps they were sleepwalking and snacking on his kibble. But they always looked so surprised when he meowed his complaints. Then, he considered the dog next door, a silly-looking golden retriever named Barnaby. But Barnaby was, frankly, a bit scared of Archibald's regal glare and wouldn't dare sneak into his kitchen. No, Archibald mused, grooming a glossy black whisker. This is the work of a stealthy, silent snacker. A midnight marauder. He decided he needed a plan. That evening, instead of his usual deep, rumbling sleep in his favorite armchair, Archibald pretended to be asleep. He lay very still, one eye just a tiny slit, watching his food bowl in the dim moonlight that filtered through the kitchen window. The house was quiet. Tick-tock went the grandfather clock in the hall. Drip-drip went the tap in the sink. Archibald was starting to feel genuinely sleepy. His eyelids felt heavy. Just as he was about to give into a real nap, he saw it. A tiny shadow darted from under the refrigerator. It was small, quick, and had a very long tail. It tiptoed, if a shadow can tiptoe, towards his precious food bowl. Archibald's green eye snapped wide open. The shadow reached the bowl. Then, Archibald heard the faintest crunch, crunch, crunch. With a mighty, though slightly stiff, leap, he was a well-fed cat. After all, Archibald sprang from the armchair. "Aha!" he boomed, his voice much louder than he intended in the quiet kitchen. The tiny shadow froze. Then, it squeaked. A very small, very high-pitched squeak. Caught in the moonlight was not a fearsome beast, nor a mischievous dog, but a tiny, little mouse, no bigger than Archibald's paw. The mouse had enormous ears, a quivering nose, and a tummy that looked surprisingly round for such a small creature. It was holding a single piece of kibble in its tiny paws, its eyes wide with terror. Archibald, who had been expecting a much bigger culprit, stared. The mouse stared back, a crumb of kibble still clinging to its whisker. "Well, I'll be," Archibald rumbled, more surprised than angry now. Such a tiny thing with such a big appetite. The little mouse, seeing that the giant black cat hadn't pounced, gave another tiny squeak, dropped the kibble, and scurried back under the refrigerator as fast as its little legs could carry it. Archibald looked at his empty bowl, then at the spot where the mouse had disappeared. A slow smile spread across his furry face. The mystery was solved. And somehow, the idea of such a small thief with such a bold plan was rather amusing. Perhaps, Archibald purred to himself, stretching. Perhaps tomorrow, I'll leave out a tiny extra portion. Just a tiny one. After all, a king can afford to be generous, especially when the culprit is so entertainingly small.